has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free.
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved up, shoved it up. It got shoved, right?
What'd you guys think?
Well, I said, it's funny how we all kind of said, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm in wait and see mode. I'm sure I'll get there with Pat. It happened really fast. I am so in.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, every new piece of content that comes out featuring Coach Fitz has me ready to run through a wall and wishing it was September.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that was going to be possible after this season. But yeah, it was. He's doing a really good job, and I love all the connections that he has, not only to the Big Ten, but to D'Antonio and Izzo, and how much he seems to understand about the university, which is definitely a change of pace.
Yeah, it's almost like between that and his energy, it's like a complete 180 from Jonathan Smith.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the contrast is so stark, or such a stark contrast between the two. I mean, he walked in. I thought he controlled the room at the press conference, which I never really felt Jonathan Smith did. Not to say he was a bad public speaker or anything. I just never felt like he totally controlled the room. And then a few hours later, he had total control of the Breslin Center during a timeout.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Izzo had to tell him to shut up. He was saying,
"Yeah,
you get out of the huddle."
that was funny.
Yeah, and I loved how he seems to know how important this is to it, and like made the references to it, like the cowboy collar beat Michigan twice.
Yeah,
and this game means there's a certain game that means a little bit more.
Yeah,
he's the kind of guy that we were talking about. We need some guy who's going to fire him up and like actually talk about stuff the way it is, rather than bow down to the overlords or whoever.
Yeah, I liked how he kind of mentioned Michigan without really mentioning them.
Yeah,
I thought that was nice. What are some of the other key takeaways you guys had? I've got quite a list here, but I'll let you guys kind of go first.
One thing, or a couple things. One that I had was just, first of all, it really does kind of feel like a Big Ten college football icon is returning to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pat Fitzgerald has really been a staple of every Saturday for the past 22 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean, and just that the video of him walking into Spartan Stadium empty could like bring a tear to your eye. You could just see he just felt like he was home.
Yeah.
And ready to you just can tell this means so much for him. It feels like he's a Spartan born in a Wildcats body. Like
I agree. I think he definitely speaks our language too. Like it was almost like he's been here his whole life. And I saw someone say online like he'll never feel like he's at home, like he'll always miss Northwestern. I think it's actually totally the opposite. I think he actually has a chip on his shoulder from what they did to him and how it ended. And again, this goes back to the contrast of Jonathan Smith. Looking back on it, it kind of feels like Jonathan Smith probably wished. I don't think he necessarily wanted to leave Corvallis. I think he got back into a corner with what was going on with the Pac-12 and just knew it was now or never in terms of what's next for him or taking the next step in his career, where I think Pat Fitzgerald is elated to be in East Lansing, at least from what I could tell. And if he's not, then he's a really good actor. Better than Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, I give him an Oscar right now.
Yeah, he needs to be in Hollywood if he is not actually excited.
Yeah, I haven't seen a coach that fired up to take our job since probably D'Antonio, and he didn't show that much emotion because he's not that kind of guy, quite that kind of guy. Yeah. But yeah, I had that same takeaway. It seems like he's excited to be here. You see him on the video, so excited to hug Sparty and everything, and it's like it's really like makes you think like, what were we doing before? What kind of coaches were we going after here before? But also, I thought during his press conference he was a little bit more concrete about how he's going to build a championship contender team. Yeah, like the other coaches would say, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that," but they didn't but they were like very vague. It was very vague criteria, not really like the steps to building, like actual steps to building it, or like actual examples from the past and that kind of stuff. And the resume, and I thought he did a pretty good job bringing that out. And I think I think Nikki, you sent the video that had him a clip of him talking to the team during it, and during that, like I said, it got me ready to run through a freaking wall again. So.
Yeah, you can just tell the passion that he speaks with. One, at the press conference, then two, in that video with the team. Like, you just can't picture Jonathan Smith doing that. And like, that's the kind of coach I played for when I was in high school. Like a coach that's very passionate. That like when he speaks to the team, it almost feels like he's yelling at you, like he's mad about something, but it's just his passion coming out. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing I heard in that video from Pat Fitzgerald. One thing I also really liked is there just seems to be this alignment between Fitzgerald, Guskowitz, Bat, like that there wasn't with Jonathan Smith. And again, I think we can all agree, and it seemed pretty prevalent yesterday, that they understand that they didn't necessarily give Jonathan Smith a fair shake. And I think it took them seeing that and accepting that to realize what they have to do with this new coach to make this thing work. They kind of all have to have their oars in the water, working towards the same goal. And I thought that they talked about alignment quite a lot, which is nice because I think that's really important.
Yeah, and that's something Pat Fitzgerald talked a lot about on the podcast that he was on with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel, where he said the next job he takes is going to have alignment from the top down, and for the first time in a while, it seems like we have that. Yeah.
And the timing couldn't be better with the For Sparta announcement. I mean, they really planned that nicely.
I was going to say, there's no way that's an accident.
Yeah, no, no.
Great PR.
But this is like the momentum, like feels good, big right now. Like there's reasons to be excited, but like also it doesn't feel like we just had a 4-8 season, which is nice. So I think J-Bat and Pat Fitzgerald and President Guskowitz for that, because now I don't have to feel sorry for myself for having a bad football team, and there's hope starting early.
Yeah. Alessio seems like him.
I had another note. It was nice to see Alessio at the press conference. That was encouraging. That's big. I think he's important. It's nice. It would be nice to not have to just worry about the quarterback position next year. I think there's enough to worry about. Am I making this up? Did he talk about building the team like from the trenches?
I think so.
I feel like
I don't remember
I thought he said something like that.
I also think Jonathan. I think every coach says that, though. I think Jonathan.
Yeah.
Maybe he said it in his little he had like a 20-minute video outside with just press after the press conference where they kind of pepper him with some more questions.
That's pretty standard.
But I think that's key. We've talked about this so much, but I can't remember the last time we had a good offensive line. And that's so important to me. It's Michigan State really should build their brand around having a good offensive line, really good trenches in general. We've been lacking in both those aspects.
Yeah, I felt like a broken record the past couple of years saying the O-line's got to have a big game this week, otherwise we're screwed. And Northwestern, while he was there, developed some pretty good offensive linemen, sent him off to the NFL. So a couple first-round picks too. So hopefully – he can do the same thing here because we need it.
Yeah. One thing I also like that I'm seeing from Coach Fitzgerald is that he seems very well aware that the game that he's stepping back into is nowhere near the same as it was, or the same when he left. To me, it's clear that he knows I can't just do things the same way. That's not going to work, and he's very aware that he'll need to evolve, not just from where he was when he was at Northwestern, but he'll have to evolve month to month, year to year, in this landscape. It's nice to see that he's recognizing that, because I feel like it's just it's easy to get caught doing the same. We've seen it with so many coaches, and obviously D'Antonio, I think the world of him, but towards the end, didn't want to fire coordinators. Didn't really. This recruiting got very stale. You know, and Smith, I mean, we watched like literally the same thing for 2 years. So it's good to see a coach that's kind of aware of the gravity of how much the sport has changed. And it looks like the school is starting to get serious about the NIL portion of it as well.
Yeah, they actually know where NIL stuff is going now.
Yeah. I like they talked about recruiting the state of Michigan too. Obviously, that's important. It's just so nice to have a coach that has Big Ten, like a wealth of knowledge of the Big Ten. You know,
he's the third winningest coach in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I think that's all I had. Anything else from you guys?
I mean, it was great to see that he's able to keep a lot of the recruiting class intact.
Yeah,